I'd want to say that that was very demeaning. That was against human rights. And I want to say that I'm extremely disappointed, especially as a person who has been #1 supporter of the President of Tanzania. And I'd want to say that all is not lost. She can still retrace her steps. Really, because her presidency is a focus not on just her, but on a lot of women. It's a test on women leadership. And so I would want to ask her to rethink and reset. That's not what we want to see. Her presidency for women goes beyond Tanzania. And even the fact that people like Martha were stopped. She made a big issue out of nothing, if you ask me. Look at Uganda. Uganda was allowed Martha to go in, and she's come out. Big deal. Nobody's talking about Uganda anymore. So I don't think, and Martha is a lawyer, for instance, and who is allowed to go to all these areas to represent people. It's legal. There's nothing illegal about that. And so I know that we have agreed not to talk about this, and I've been restraining myself. But I just want to say for President Samia Suluhu Hassan that I've been her fan #1. And I've not lost hope in her. I am still hoping that she can retrace her steps and get back on the right path. It is not acceptable. I wouldn't say whether somebody is being hypocritical, because it's only God who knows the heart of man. But I can tell you that's why I'm actually telling the president to call to order the people around him. There are people who are overexcited. And I'm saying this because I know an incident where I was with the president when his own people were doing totally different things. So I know the president didn't order. So his own people need to be called to order. There are people who are too overexcited. I mean, the presidency has been here now for 2.5 years. What is the excitement? Get used to it. When I bought this suit, I was very excited. I'm no longer excited. I've worn it more than 1 time. I can't be jumping up and about it. Look at my new suit all the time. I mean, get used to it right now, please. Well, I think you've also seen that the president has been very busy, so he doesn't necessarily have to respond on the spot. But I support my party leader 100% that there is a need for compensation of victims. And I'm not saying this because of politics, because I am actually the author of the Victim Protection Act, because I believe anybody who is a victim of crime need to be compensated. And it is not just limited to the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs who are killed, their families need to be compensated. The ones who are injured need to be compensated. The people who are killed when we demonstrated post-election, their families need to be compensated. And it's not much, really, if you look at the number of people who are there. And I want to thank the president for giving that, saying the forgiveness or seeking for forgiveness. So the forgiveness, I would want to urge him, again, to follow with an act. In law, we say there is the mens rea and the actus reus. Let his mens rea be followed by an actus reus. What it is in his mind need to be followed by action. That I'd want to encourage the president to take action or to take control. I think there are people who are overexcited around the presidency. For instance, this young girl called Caroline Njeri, Rose Njeri, who was arrested. Honestly, unless there's a big thing that is not evident to us, there was absolutely no reason to arrest that girl. And for me, I get very jittery when I see any evidence of a thinning of a democratic space. That this gives me jitters. And I would want to encourage the president, in the spirit of the MOU that we signed, to look at the issues of enhancing that democratic space. And for somebody who is basically just trying to give us views on the finance bill, I don't see what's wrong with that. When people give us views on the finance bill, we will accept what we think makes sense and we will reject what doesn't make sense. Of course, I know Kenya comes from the issues of Gen Z last year, and there may be jitters, but I don't think it makes sense to arrest a very young, innocent-looking girl over simple things like that. So I do condemn that. But what I'm doing here is, as a person very passionate about issues of human rights, whenever I see anything that appears as a regression, I will call it out, and I'm calling it out. That when you see any evidence of something that looks like a regression, and that's why I'm saying the people around the presidency, there are some people who are overexcited, and if you see me coming out here, I'm coming out because that's not the only one I've seen. I may not say the others, but they should stop being overexcited. And we cannot allow a situation where any voice of dissent is criminalized. Even me, I have people in my constituency that speak against me. We allow them, let them speak. But ultimately, the best person will win. And so for instance, while Homa Bay was going on very well, then you see this lady being arrested. What sense does it make? Why are you pulling down a positive at 100%, you're pulling it down by another 20%? When you are on a high, just stay on a high. Don't let the little things spoil the vineyard. Yeah, the Bible says it's the little foxes that spoil our vineyard. So don't let little foxes spoil our vineyard. If somebody wants to raise a divergent view, let them be. Let me take this opportunity to notice or to note that I'm extremely abhorred and appalled by the apparent increase in issues of gender-based violence against women politicians. And I want to say that I don't care which side of the divide I am, whether we are in broad-based or not. I cannot condone any form of violence against women, and it is because of that that I want to condemn the attack on a woman MCA I don't know if it's in Makueni. I just saw it in passing in news because I had a very busy day. It is not acceptable. It was from the report, it seemed to imply that a male member of parliament was behind it. And I want to condemn it. I don't care if you're my colleague or not. You cannot subject women to violence. In the same vein, I want to condemn the verbal utterances by the governor of Isiolo against a woman senator that have a sexual innuendo. And I want to tell you those are politics of yesteryears. You are not going to demean women using their sexuality. You are not going to attack women and expect us to be silent. Because this political space is for both men and for women. And you are not going to use below the belt issues and expect us to be silent as you attack women. Thank you. Yeah.
Where does that leave Kenyans?
I would actually say for me, as a legislator, I know my party leader has spoken very strongly on the issue of NGCDF because he believes it takes away from the role and the mandate of legislators, which is legislation, representation, and oversight. And I want to agree with him that as currently configured, that is the way it is. But the country, it's the Kenyans that are putting pressure on parliamentarians to put in development as their role. So even if you remove NGCDF, I'll go back to my constituency, they'll tell me, we don't have a class. Please build us a class. So what then do I do? Harambee. Then what do members of parliament do? They'll either do harambes or they line in State House, yeah, and pledge allegiance, what we had come away from in Moi's era's time. So for me, one of the things I think it would be important, and some of the members of the parliament have actually requested for an engagement with my party leader to discuss with him the realities, which I know he understands because he's the one who came up with the issue of devolution. And even when the money is taken away from NGCDF, it's not going to go to the counties because it's the portion of the national government. It's actually decentralized. CDF is decentralized, governance is devolved. So there are members of parliament who have requested that they wanted to meet our party leader so that they understand. Secondly, we know that there are many allied members of the public, especially in towns, that don't understand that. If you go to the constituencies, and I'm sure if you saw what had actually happened all over when there was a public participation, CDF is extremely popular because it's a working fund. And as a Millie, once we have that discussion with our party leader, if you are agreed to go forward, I would actually encourage a referendum on NGCDF so that we hear from Kenyans. Let it be subjected to a referendum, a public referendum. And I can tell you, a lot of Kenyans know what NGCDF does. Most people go to school because there's bursary of NGCDF. Most classes and rural areas have transformed because of NGCDF. And that is why I'm telling you, because I want to walk the same path with my party leader. I agree with the parliamentarians that have called for dialogue with my party leader on the issue of NGCDF.
Do you have timelines for that dialogue?
Well, currently the party leader is not available, but they wanted to meet him as soon as possible because there's a parliamentary process that has started that will bring hopefully a constitutional amendment. Though personally I think it would be better if you have a referendum. The collaboration with COOPA and ND Insight is very significant. I think you've seen some of the robust issues that have come up, issues that relate to development, issues that relate to our role as legislators, and even showing the gaps that exist and where we can serve the Kenyans better. So it's actually a very important role. And as members of the parliament, and I want to tell you, I'm very, as I said before, I'm very humble that I'm one of the people, because I came from civil society, that push very strongly for public participation and engagement with civil society, because that's the only way you can do the issue of effective development for the country. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
thank you.
From politics, would you tell us where we are at with the assisted reproduction?
The assisted reproduction technology bill was actually on the floor of the House yesterday, but because of other challenging issues that were before the floor, it's coming next week.
Okay.
Yeah, for the committee of the whole House.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.